Alrighty. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. If you can see me okay and hear me alright, I had some technical issues this afternoon as we were doing our live stream this afternoon. So if you can see me okay, hear me alright, put it into the chat and let me know. Alright. A very big hello, welcome, and massive thank you and appreciation there. Jimmy, really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Starting the stream on the right foot already. Um, we did our stream at 3, did our members stream today at 3 o'clock. And I was saying tonight we're going to be doing the Bank of Canada's rate decision. Um, and we have the FOMC later on as well. And my main aim for tonight is to make money on the stream. And Jimmy's helped me with that already, first off. No, we're going to make a lot more. Ideally, we're going to make a lot more money than that. Um, good trade, good setups. Hopefully, we'll look out for that as they turn up. At 9, it is 9:03 right now on the 17th of September. At 9:45 p.m. GMT plus 8 my time here, we've got the Bank of Canada with the interest rate decision. I think you can see it. Hang on. Okay. With the interest rate decision taking rates down, likely to take rates down from a 2.75 to a 2.5%, a 25 basis point rate cut expected tonight. I was a little bit hesitant. I was this close, maybe a bit closer, this close to saying, hey, maybe we won't do the session tonight. This session right now, because as much as the CAD wasn't moving, I had been busy buying the gold, buying not the gold, buying gold to the upside, small scalps and trades to the upside on gold. So I'm very happy with that. Almost exactly as we anticipated this afternoon. Yeah, so I thought, should I just sit here and continue scalping gold, or should I just continue scalping gold and delete the live stream, or should we just continue as planned? And lucky, we have it continuing as planned. So if you are on the live stream, and you're new to the session, or you're new, no, you used to be regular, drop a message into the chat box on the side there. Say hi. Let me know where you're joining us from. If you have any questions, put it in the chat and let me know. And you can help me out massively by remembering to click on that thumbs up button. Right? So a couple of things for you to do. Contribute to the goal. I think it's 5 stickers, 10 stickers or 5 stickers we're looking at. So you can click on that and get the goal. I don't know. We've never got the goal, so I keep trying. And if you're on the session, drop a message, say hi, let me know where you're joining us from, whether you're new or old viewer. And then if you haven't already, do remember to click that like, that thumbs up button, and also the subscribe button if you haven't. And we do have our daily live stream. You see that little thing scrolling at the bottom there. Our daily live stream sessions with the Elite Navigator membership. So you can also click that join button on the side there and join as an Elite Navigator. 3 p.m. GMT plus 8 every day that we go live, sharing with you trade ideas, setups like these ones, talking about gold bouncing off the support. We talked about the dollar maybe retracing back up towards this area on the resistance before pushing back down. Onto Kiwi, those ones didn't play out for today. Pound might still have a chance. The euro might be a bit touch and go. The yen was very interesting. maybe to the downside. We didn't have too much on the pound and the euro yen. Sweezy is a set right across, and tonight, for now, for this session now, the focus is on the CAD, on the loonie, right? Because um, at 9:45 we do in just about 30 minutes time, we have the news to be released, 2.75 down to 2.5%. Following on, and why I kind of thought maybe we won't do a session tonight is because following on from this at 2 a.m. So 9:45. Um, I don't normally watch the press conference. So once the news comes out, we look at the number. If they do it as planned, taking it down from 2.75 to 2.5%. Then we look at the rate statement or read through the rate statement, look for any surprises there. Barring any surprises, we won't bother too much of a press conference. So this could be a short and sharp, relatively short and sharp session, but at 2 a.m. GMT plus 8 my time, so I'll be up all the way. At 2 a.m. tonight or tomorrow morning, we have the US. The US deciding, finally, Jerome Powell from the Fed Reserve deciding to cut rates down from a 4.5 to a 4.25%. So we can look into that. There's also a live stream available to you all at 1 a.m. Don't know how many of you will be up and about trading and watching me ramble on at 1 a.m., but do feel free to join me also on the channel. It will come up for the Fed funds rate. We'll look at a statement. We'll watch the press conference. Unfortunately, I can't stream the press conference um, because that gets into some conflict of not conflict, copyright, some copyright issues and stuff like that. So we can't stream the press conference, but I'll watch the press conference and guide you through that. And then through to tomorrow evening, we do have the Bank of England with the interest rate decision, this time around keeping rates on hold at 4%. No big surprises expected, but we'll see. Maybe some craziness happening here from the Fed Reserve could spill over to the Bank of England, the BoE. And then tomorrow, well, not tomorrow, Friday morning, we have the BOJ with their rates decision. Um, maybe hiking rates. But at this point, looking like they'll keep rates on hold, but the rate hike decision is on the table. It's on the table. It could be on the table. It's just whether how quickly it rises to the top of the pile. All right. So that's a snapshot view of what we have um, live streaming tonight, tomorrow morning, tomorrow evening, and again on Friday morning with all the major central banks and their decisions. Okay. Hey Magas, how are you doing? Long time no see. Good to see you on the session. Welcome, welcome. Okay, so I'm sniffing like mad right now. So it's 9:10. We've got the rates decision to come at 9:45. Like I was telling some of the guys today, the last time they cut rates was from 3 to 2.75. That was in March. And then before that, in January, they went from 3.25 to 3. So on a March 12th, way back then, March 4 time frame, or March 12th. Okay. Um, I've been up I've been up since early this morning, so I'm just absolutely smashed right now. Just bear with me. March 12th, at about that 9 p.m. timing, right there. Okay. March 12th at about the 9 p.m. timing, or maybe even that period, with this is on the US CAD on H4 time frame, with a rate decision to cut down, cutting rates. Hang on a sec. Cutting rates down from a 2.75 to 2.5. So typically, when you cut rates, right? Typically, when you cut rates, it makes the currency a little bit less attractive, right? It makes it a little bit less attractive because it gets you lower interest payouts. Only when you increase rates, then you look at your currency becomes more attractive, right? You kind of see an increase in demand. So in this case, when they cut rates down from a 2.75 to 2.5, ignoring the US side, what we saw, when was it? 9 o'clock as well, at that point. Okay, so that candle there, we saw the US CAD push up. So it started pretty much at 1.4396. Within the hour, it pushed up to 1.4430. Well, within the 4 hours, and then it came back down again and then pushed slightly lower to end the session. That's where that's the kind of move on the US CAD, despite the rate cut, right? Despite the rate cut, and we see that pushing to the downside. Um, so the CAD strength and then pushing to the downside. One more thing was the next one was on the 29th of Jan. Okay. Um, 29th of January, which would be about that point there. So again, that's when they started, well, not started, but that's when they did another rate cut, which was from 3.25 down to 3. And you still see the US CAD pushing slightly to the downside before coming back up again. This is all just a very simplistic view um, of what happened, right? Of just the US CAD on the interest rate position. It's obviously ignoring the dollar index. It's obviously ignoring performance of the dollar and oil and the current market situations across the board. So that's what's happened there. So fast forward to now, right? Fast forward to now. This is again on H4 time frame just to show you a big picture. The thing here to note, and we talked about this um, this afternoon, but I think it's worth changing this view also with the thought in mind of how the dollar index is moving at the moment, right? It's just sitting across, it's trying to push back up. So now I'm looking at the US CAD on H4. The big thing, I'll take this one away for now. The big thing to watch and not worry about, but the big thing to watch and note is 50% and 61.8 is right there. Okay, that's a big, strong support level, and support level there. Okay, so we zoom in again. Then remember how I was showing you that in the previous rate cut scenarios, despite a rate cut, typically we should have seen the CAD weaken, right? Which means pushing to the upside, but instead we saw it push down. This move is done. Take that one away. But actually, if you take this move right down, right, so you have these points here. Let's update those lines. So this is on H4 time frame. All right, this is on H4 time frame. You've seen it come down and bounce. This you got to pay attention to the previous the previous trend, the immediate trend. Right, when we looked at the one in March, back here, March 12, back here, it was pushing to the downside, and that's why we saw the cat push to the downside. Now this is slightly pushing up again, right? On H4, the key levels to watch out for will be at these points for now. Right, at these points for now. I don't want to put in all the lines. That's not going to be too messy. Okay, so that's on the H4. Obviously, when you trade the news, you want to go down to the smaller time frame. That's actually what I'm looking for there. In this area, actually. Okay, so the most ideal, what I would be, what I would love to see, it will fit with the fundamentals, it will fit with technicals. If they do cut rates down from a, so most likely you're going to cut it down from a 2.75 to 2.5, and in the rate statement actually support the idea and suggest that they might do further rate cuts. Looking at the dollar sitting there, if the dollar doesn't do too much and it sits there, right, we could see this push up. Right, we could see this push up. Then your ideal move would be 1.3780. Stop loss would be 20. Just to give you a bit of space. Actually, you can even do 15. I would say even 15 would be reasonable. Right? And then your take profit would be about 30 pips to the upside. Again, remember the thing below there scrolls around saying disclaimer applies. So if you're going to be entering this trade, please do your own analysis as well. Okay. But that's what I'm looking for. If they do cut rates down from a 2.75 down to 2.5%, then we're going to see that push up. Okay, we're going to see that push up. If we can cross above this 2.6 level, we're going to see it continue to the upside. And that's what I've been looking for. What do you think? What are your thoughts on the US CAD, on that news of a rate cut? It does need to break above this level, and that could work. Then you put in the Bollinger. Doesn't do too much for me. TSRI, MACD, trying to push to the upside. Dennis just joined as a market explorer. Welcome, welcome. Good to have you with us. You should join the Elite Navigator. Dennis, upgrade it. Okay. So I'm looking at this push up. Then if it pushes up strongly, you got that upside, but that's what you're looking for. And it's slowly creeping up. If you look at an M15 time frame now, it starts to make a lot more sense. Right? It starts to make a lot more sense. With this push down. Yeah, that's good. We can look at that. Take 38. That's what we're looking for. And then you could even be looking for the next move up if it goes there. And I also kind of like what I see here in terms of a little bit of that upward sloping line, support the push to the upside. It is facing a little bit of difficulty right now as it sits at this level, or rather as it tries to break this level. So you can also kind of consider it as, oops, as that kind of breakout, right? So if you're that little bit more aggressive kind, you're happy to take a risk, you want to rush, not rush in, but you want to get in. You think that you want to get in a little bit earlier, then maybe look to get in as it breaks out of this triangle to the upside. You gain a little bit of pips. You gain a couple of extra pips. It's not going to do too much. I'd rather go for the safety at 1.3780. All right. Um, I think what I'll do, I really shouldn't be doing this right now. But looking at the way I've just described through the whole session, the whole news event, I'm going to push the FOMC Fed funds rate decision live stream back slightly to 1:30. Um, because the news is going to be released at 2. So if I'm going on at 1 and talking and rambling for the next 1 hour, um, I'm gonna be drained. I'm gonna be drained by then. Okay, and also just a quick reminder, those of you who have been to a couple of my live training sessions know already. On this screen here, I have my trading view charts. Right, that's why you see me always looking at this screen here with my trading view charts. On this screen here, I have my trading platform. Right, I have my trading platform. On that screen there, I have my YouTube and my chat going on, monitoring the chat. On this screen here, I have my streaming station um, dashboard. So I do when it happens, when things happen. Sometimes I do go a little bit quiet when I'm trading. Um, and then I will be scanning firstly the charts. I'll be looking at my trades. I'll be calculating some numbers, um, getting some trades if I do. Right, I'll be answering your questions if I see them, and then also making sure that nothing screws up on the screen on the stream. All right, so I'm right across 4 screens here. So just bear with me if anything crazy. If I go a little bit quiet or anything crazy else happens. Jimmy says, I don't think it'll move much. Um, I I might jinx it by saying I'm hoping it'll move, but like yeah, right at the start of the session, that's what I was saying as well, right? Right at the start of the session, where I don't know if it moved that much, given that it was very well forecasted and that they will cut rates, and the Bank of Canada tends to do as they or kind of provide that forward guidance on their decisions and then follow their decisions through. So we're not expecting a big surprise here in this case. And then we have the FOMC later on, so it doesn't seem like anyone's going to take any big, or they're unlikely to take any big actions and big movements before this major news. So it might be a quick pop and a quick move before it all fizzles out again, and then we'll wait for the FOMC. I'm definitely not. I thought about it, but I'm definitely not going to stream all the way from now till the FOMC. I don't think it's worth doing that. Um, yeah, so we'll do this. Maybe we'll end very quickly. Maybe we'll end at 10. Take a quick break, and then we got the next stream for the FOMC. Um, like what Jimmy said, right? Might spike up and then back down. Firstly, it's down to the Bollinger. I'm going to keep it on a 15-minute time frame. It is slightly off the Bollinger. Um, it could spike up about there. Uh, I mean, just then when it was back there, I thought 20 would be good. So the next move would be that continuation up. But from here, it might just catch that point. So we're going to watch that as well. It might just pop. I don't. I don't even. Sadly, I don't even think it'll spike. It'll be a bit of a. It'll be up to here, bit of a move up, and then steady down, and then it all depends on what this guy's gonna do. Look at that. The dollar, right, doesn't even seem like it's super keen on that upside. The dollar looks like it's done its move that way and could be pushing lower again with the news later tonight for another rate cut. Oops, I want to press that. Go back to that. The Fed funds rate telling us it's about 6%. Just then it was, I don't remember now. I thought just then it was a 4%, but now it's at a 6% chance for a 50 basis point rate cut, a 94% chance of a 25 basis point rate cut. Right, so still not doing anything. Remembering again that the last two that we saw, the last two rate cut decisions that we saw the CAD push down, right? Saw the CAD push to the downside. We are at 9:30, about 15 minutes away from the decision. Um, any questions? Any thoughts? I see you guys on the session, but relatively quiet group. 15-minute candle close. It's popped up. Hmm. Popped up ever so slightly before coming back in again. Just sitting there. coming up slightly, coming up ever so slightly. We're just waiting for the news right now at 9:45. It does look like it's supporting a little of that pop. Kind of. The way the price action is moving, I'm gonna zoom it in a little bit. There we go. It does support that idea of a bit of a pop to the upside. But it's very undecided at this level here. Using there, not doing too much. I'm just trying to see. Okay, wait. I'm looking at the things scrolling around. If I just talk normally, I think you can still hear me, alright? Let me know if it's you can still hear me or not. Okay, so we are looking at the various stands among governors. Okay, I'm just looking into the news later. Like how that's playing. Kind of considering whether you move it a little bit nearer in. Which you could come down a little bit nearer and drag this down as well. But for me, it's I'd rather not get into a trade rather than try and get in and have to. I used to, I used to even get in right there now before the news just to try and catch something. But it's just too much effort nowadays. Um, Probably I'd rather sit there and not get into a trade rather than to try and have to get in and then manage the trade even more. Jimmy just sold the CAD yen, so don't, I don't normally look at the crosses. Um, CAD yen does look reasonable. Look at an H1 time frame. There, there, selling down. Yes, it probably makes a bit better if you go down below one. If it gets below 106.24 to sell down to 106 or 106.60. Okay, so it's not just. Okay, you didn't say just. I thought it was just. We sold it down probably about this afternoon. It looks good. You might want to consider a move to break even if it comes down to that point, or that possible move further down again. Yeah, if those who have not got into this, then I would say that yeah, would have been great if you got into 106.60. If not, then let it break below that point to trade down. That's what I would look out for. Back to the US CAD onto the Loonie, it's popped right back in. That's on the fifth, so showing you the 15-minute time frame. It just come right back in. 6 minutes away from the news. At this point, I don't think to the downside would be worth doing. I don't think a downside move would be worth doing. No, I don't think that'd be good. I think it's either up or nothing that way. Uh, 5 minutes away from the news. Thanks for that, Jimmy. 8 more to go. Come on, we're at 20 something. We've got, I don't know how many people watching right now. Numbers are changing. Oh, we've got people watching right now. We've got 8 more to go. Click on that. Follow Jimmy's lead. Click on that. I don't know what you click on. Click on one of the sticker things, and let's go. Let's get it going. Um, 3 minutes away. It's looking well. It's looking reasonable. Like 2 minutes away, or one and 20 something seconds, 1 minute and 20 something seconds away from a red card. It looks like it's those, as we've been talking about. I'm repeating myself. Bit of a pop and a move kind of scenario. 1 minute away. I would be very surprised if this had a big move. I've got my order in there. I've got my order set up ready. Um, when it's moving, I've sized down as well. Right. I don't know whether it will fill. That's also, and I don't know whether it will gap. I don't think it will gap. I don't know whether it will gap and fill or fill. So I've sized it down just to have a look. 4 seconds away. It's popped down. Okay, now the 1 minute time frame. In addition, the news release has caused it to push to the downside. And do that. Okay. Okay, I canceled that one out. I canceled that one out just to have a look at what's going on here. It does thought it'll pop. So it didn't pop, so I canceled it out to let it run. Pushing down is doing the same thing it's done for the last um, three, last two, sorry, last two sessions. Is pushing back up now. A little bit annoyed that I canceled it out. Can still get in. Don't think I will. No. The rates are definitely down to 2.5. Yes. CPI is down to 1.9. Weaker economy and less upside risk to inflation. Governing Council. Okay. So it's not done anything. It hasn't done said too much. Nothing. Hey, we kind of expected it, didn't we? Wasn't this one part of the expectation that it wasn't gonna do too much? This is on 5 minute time frame. This is a 1 minute time frame. It shot down. I had my orders. I didn't think it was going to be good and strong. Popped to the upside, canceled my order. It came back up, and then now it's pushing back down again on the 1 minute time frame. What looks like might happen here is that it could push down. Um, Dollar is trying to push to the downside. So maybe over the next couple of hours in the lead up to the FOMC, we might see this push down uh, towards the 9650 level, maybe. Um, and then we could see this drag down. It's definitely not something to rush in yet. If you look at it on the H1 time frame, it actually still looks relatively reasonable, right? It wasn't a trade that we were going to rush, could have rushed into, but it still looks like it's developing, right? It still looks like it's developing right across for the upside potential. All right. Anyone going to any trades? Do let me know. Do let me know. It's pushing. It's pushing. It's just taking a bit longer, but it's pushing. Nothing. All right. Um, that's just sitting there. That's just sitting there. No big surprises, as we kind of thought. Press conference opening. There was a clear agreement to lower interest rates. Con- confluence. Risk and certainties for economy have changed since it's been lower. Lower uncertainties risk as well. Governor McCallum says bank will focus on short-term horizon and prepare to respond to new data. Cut appropriate with a weaker economy and less inflation risk. We've read that already. So that's all. That, in the sense, really does. Uh, I think if it wasn't for the FOMC later tonight, that looked like a very dovish rate cut, right? They talked about how they've cut rates. They talked about a weaker economy despite a lower inflation risk. They talked about what was the other one? Disruptive. add disruptive shift in trade will add costs as they weigh on economic activity. It's it's a whole bunch of not very good. It doesn't sound very positive in terms of the policy, in terms of the release, supporting the release of the policy, right? Um, so it's, so that's why it should be a bit of a dovish cut or supporting a dovish cut should see this push up. But I feel like because of the Fed Reserve later, the Fed decision later, we're seeing that weigh onto the dollar. And because it's weighing onto the dollar, it's kind of holding the US CAD down a little bit as the dollar press pushes it a little bit lower there, right? Then looking at the CAD yen, Jimmy, you're looking at it as it pushes. Don't know whether you got out of that trade already. It's down to that 106.25 ish level. I, like I was saying, it is bounced here. It's bounced here. It's right at this point here. It does have that downside, but it needs to clear this level before we could see that downward push. Still in it. Okay. Yeah, watch that level. Once it if or once ideally once it breaks, then we could see that downside move, pretty much like what we see across here. Right? At 106 exactly. 106 right down to the level. But it does need to clear this point first. Okay. US CAD is still sitting there, not doing too much. All right, now let's have a look at all the other pairs. Oh, too weird looking. And this is why, as much as I love trading the news, I like trading the news on my own. When we trade the news on a live stream, I feel like it's such a it often leads to a bit of a disappointment when we're sitting there and then it doesn't do too much. I like the pound. I don't know what else to say. I like the pound. We talked about this afternoon. For it to sit across, it's been sitting across, slightly pushing up. But hey, if it breaks above, just double checking, yes. If it breaks above that dotted line at about 1.3680, we're looking at 1.3690, 30 to 80 to the upside. If the dollar drops, we could see this really push up. I like what I see here on the pound. Disclaimer applies. The euro is a little bit undecided. The yen is sitting there. Maybe, I mean, I don't think that's going to happen. I think what you're going to look for next is that move down. The euro are not too bothered with the cross pairs. 3Z is sitting right across. US CAD is back within the range. It's all being pressured by this, by the dollar index right now. Yeah. Nothing much. Okay. Okay, it's a same cross. All right. So just wanted to do this session a quick one. I'm gonna get a bit of a lie down, rest up, um, tune back in. So if you're on the session, drop a message. Let me know that you're here. Um, I recognize names quite well. I think so. If you're on the session, drop a message. Let me know that you're here. Tune back in at about 1:30 later on tonight. No worries, Jimmy. I know that. I I would be very surprised if you were on later on. And I'll be telling you go get some sleep. But yes, at 2 a.m. GMT plus 8, we have the Fed funds rate. Actually, let me know if you're going to be on. For everyone else who's on the session, let me know if you're going to be on. Um, if you're not going to be on, maybe I won't do it. But yeah, let me know if you're going to be on. Um, I'll be turning on at 1:30 for the Fed funds rate, and then we'll go through that and see how we go. All right. So in the meantime, I don't think anything is going to be happening in the market. So please don't try and force a trade. Don't try and rush into something. There is a big steaming train. I most likely coming around at 2 a.m. So maybe stay on the sidelines and wait for that. Okay. We'll talk again in a couple of hours. For now, take care, and I'll see you shortly.